Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos voicing support for a hike in the corporate tax rate. He issued this statement on Tuesday saying, quote, "We support the Biden administration's focus on making bold investments in American infrastructure. We recognize this investment will require concessions from all sides, both on the specifics of what's included as well as how it gets paid for. We're supportive of a rise in the corporate tax rate." Bezos did stop short of endorsing the president's tax hike plan. Buttigieg was on MS this morning, Jim, and said even if you get to 28, which no one actually believes they're going to get to, you're still talking about the lowest corporate tax rate in at least his lifetime, he argued.
Look, sometimes you see these comments from corporate executives, and you just say, holy cow, are they ever not united? This Bezos comment is directly the opposite of all the CEOs that have come on air. And yet, who's the most successful of them? I think it would be Bezos. David, it's really dawning on people. Yeah. The most successful banker is saying that there's too much greed. Maybe the most successful user of the internet is saying, we'll pay more. David, what's going on here?
Dogs and cats living together. I don't know. I mean, I know Diamond's saying don't get rid of the inability to deduct salt. Okay. And this guy now, the company that's criticized for trying to avoid taxes wherever it can, is saying, yeah, okay, we're okay with it. It's news, which is why we're talking about it.
Yes.
And Mr. Bezos is nothing if not perhaps the most important CEO in the country, I would argue. Certainly Amazon, as a part of so many people's lives, is, and as a focus on both sides, politically at least, under pressure in some way from the Bernie Sanders camp some time ago, but remember has at least a $15 an hour wage. At the same time, there's still the question of unionization in Alabama, for example, where the president has sided with the potential for unionizing there. So it's interesting, to say the least, that he would come out in that fashion. Of course, still CEO, but will not be for that much longer, Jim, taking on the chairman role. Perhaps we'll start to see Bezos participate a little bit more fully in dialogue like this.
Well, for instance, we have Darren Woods coming up, the CEO of Exxon. I mean, David, if you ask him higher taxes, what do you think he's going to say?
No. I would assume he would say no.
Right. He'd say that we need to have enough money to be able to pay the shareholders a dividend. Carl, I think that these executives who are saying things that are contrary to what they'd be expected to be will actually take a lot of heat, because there are a lot of people, Carl, who basically just say, are you kidding me? I mean, you make so much money, and now you're willing to let your company do this, and you're so rich, and you can say that, but, what do? I'm at a company that if they do this, I'm not going to get a raise. So somehow what's viewed as being selfless will come off as selfish if the executives make a lot of money.
Yeah, we are expecting to hear the president later today, guys. He's going to talk about really what the definition of infrastructure is. They've been trying to broaden that definition versus public, perhaps perception. Jim, he'll say, why is it acceptable that 91 of the biggest corporations paid zero in federal taxes in 2019? There's also a growing discussion about which sectors are going to get hurt the most. FANG, for example, has the lowest median effective tax rate, and there's some who argue that's going to feed the rotation we've been talking about for several months.
Well, it would be amazing as long as we get new money into the S&P, which is what I think is happening instead of individual stocks, which has been such a failure in the last 3 months. That goes right in favor of the largest companies in the S&P, which are the ones that you just mentioned.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.